Hi everyone, this is Dane, and I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. We are going to be talking about the Lion's Gate portal, which is something that I've recently become aware of and just have totally been kind of really intrigued by. I want to say obsessed, but yeah, really, really intrigued with. Now, the height of the Lion's Gate portal is on August 8th, but the portal is opened from the 28th of July to the 12th of August. So its intensity and its power has been being felt for quite some time now. So what this is, what the Lion's Gate portal is, before we dive into everything, it is the alignment of the fixed star Cyrus with our sun. And Cyrus is known as the spiritual sun, whereas our sun is the physical sun. So the spiritual awakening comes forward. It also aligns with the Nile River flooding, bringing fertility, prosperity, bounty, to the earth. And so that's what it does with us. It brings us a very creative, intense, powerful time that can take us off the path we thought we were to walk and into something new, into something so much more than what we imagined. It can also be a little bit of a difficult time, an intense time. So just being aware of this, a highly creative time as well, an intuitive time, a time when you question, you seek, and things start to align or fall in your path. And you're like, wow, I get this now. I see this now. So I'm very excited about the Lion's Gate, and I want to see how this works for us, how this brings us forward. So let's dive in. First, let's clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. This cleanse and meditation will be accompanied by a loud sound. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds, letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. So let us see here, because this is for all signs, all people, what the tarot has to say. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels. Fantastic. Okay. Give me a moment. All right. Of the heart of it all, during this Lion Gate portal time, is the Strength card. Now, this makes perfect sense, and this is really, really cool, because the Lion's portal always happens around, like, the height of it correlates to August 8th. All right. And that is also correlating to the flooding of the Nile. So here it is in Leo timeframe. So we have strength coming forward, which represents Leo in the major arcana. So this time of Leo is going to be powerful for us in one way or another. It is also really going to be honing us in to our own personal strengths, but especially strengths that we have kind of overlooked or thought were weaknesses, or had people tell us, that's not a strength, that's not a talent. And now we're going to be looking at things quite differently. It's like, oh no, this is. And just because it might not have fit somebody else's point of view or somebody else's way of looking at things, there is a power and authority to us that we are stepping into now. It is not the strength of, I will make you bend to my will. We've had enough of that. This is a strength of kindness of heart, of determination of soul. This is a compassionate strength that transcends. It really does transcend. And it also is a strength really aligned with personal gifts and ideas. Now it brings us to the challenges that this, Lion's Gate portal will bring. And this is the moon. the stars are aligning quite literally. And the moon brings us our fears. It brings us our doubt. It brings us the shadows of things. It also illuminates the night sky. So this moon is also, we have the full moon on the 9th, during this time of the Lion's Gate portal opening, and the power and intensity of this portal coming forward, correlating and compounding with the moon's power itself. All right, so what we're going to see here is that our fears and our doubts come forward. We are going to see the illusions of things, the thoughts, the ideas. Well, I can't do that because. And this is going to be a time of shattering illusion. This is also Pisces energy, time frame, February 19th to March 20th. There can be something that happened in the beginning of the year, or a way that you were in the beginning of the year that is quite different than the way that you are now. But the echo of that power, that intensity is still with you. So the challenge is breaking through that, kind of walking through that portal, going through that transformation of fire, because Leo is a fire sign, but also that transformation that the lion brings forward into our strength, into our power, into ourselves. It brings us then to where we need to focus our energy. And this is the Empress. The Empress really embodies the flooding of the Nile, right? The fertility, the growth, the abundance, the power moving us forward, the creativity, the newness that is coming. And this is saying that what we need to focus on is creation. It is not conquering, it is not anger, it is not frustration, but it is creation, which we can be frustrated with that, we can be overwhelmed by it. But this is a time of movement, of guidance, of insight. And this is also a time of really embracing your own power, your own uniqueness, your own way of seeing things that is going to be amplified. It brings us then to the energy that is leaving. And this is the Three of Pentacles. So I see this actually as a time where kind of like we had three things that we really had to take care of, three ways that our prosperity was being pulled. Also having to work with others, having others to mind for, having things to care for. And now this time of having to collaborate with others, having to work with others, having to really take in others' consideration has come to an end. And it doesn't mean that, all of a sudden we're going to be kind of like lone warriors in the world. But what it does mean is that we really get to focus on our own strengths and not have to worry so much about juggling everything. We're falling into a rhythm if we take it. And it's a rhythm very focused on the self, very focused on internal power. And it brings us then to our strength. And our strength is the Hierophant. Now, the Hierophant is Taurus energy, time frame April 20th to May 20th. We have a lot of major arcana moving us forward here during this the Lion Gate portal time. And what we're going to see here is that this is our tradition. This is what's right for us. Now, we can be kind of arguing with certain traditions that we were born into, certain ways that we think things are supposed to be, and then the reality of our heart. And with what we're needing to focus on being the Empress, the energy of move forward in this knowledge, move forward in this understanding, that's going to be really important to us. Build and create the insight that guides you. That's going to be very important to us. The Hierophant is coming in, bringing us power, bringing us authority, bringing us insight, but it is also opening up doors to new traditions, or how we weave those in with our own personal understanding. So our greatest strength during this time is the knowledge that we have learned, really woven together with our intuition, our determination, our fire, our focus, our understanding, but the uniqueness of ourselves. And as we move into that energy, it brings us to the near future. And this is the King of Cups. The King of Cups is water sign energy, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. So if you are a Pisces energy, or Pisces energy here because of the moon, right? But if you are a water sign energy, this bodes well for you, right? This energy will come out more. If you have water sign energy in your chart, just know that this part of your personality will be playing more of a center role. But the King of Cups says, lead with the heart, lead with emotion, lead with your connection. This isn't being mathematical or scientific or cold or distant about anything. This is about really moving forward with personal feeling, with determination, with insight. And this is really starting to trust your connection with your spirit guides, your angels, your intuitive understanding. And this is starting to really trust your heart and seeing that one of your main gifts is not to be cold and distant, but to be very involved, very connected with the earth, with your dreams, with your deeper understanding, to move forward in love. The King of Cups, of course, the first rule when we dive into the Tower here is do no harm. Move forward in love. Move forward in compassion, in understanding, respect, And here with the King of Cups, bring what you love to the forefront of your life, because it is going to illuminate you, raise your energy vibration, give you insight that you hadn't had before. And we've kind of been silencing that stuff, saying, it's not quite practical enough, or, people might mock me for rituals that I do, or ways that I move myself forward. It's going to make me different or other. And I just want to be like everybody else. And Spirit is really saying during this time, let yourself stand out. Let yourself stand out. Let your intuitive, beautiful nature guide you forward. It brings us then to the advice, and this is the Lovers. This is Gemini energy. Time frame is May 21st to June 20th. The advice here is to move forward in love. The advice here is to embrace the duality of ourselves, not limiting ourselves to one way of being, but seeing that the whole of our being, the whole of ourselves is in love, in compassion, in understanding. It is in gentleness. It is in caring for others. It is respecting, other people's boundaries and our own boundaries ourselves. But we are also looking at ourselves and coming to an understanding of the sacred feminine, sacred masculine within us, that we are not all one way or another, that there is this beautiful rhythm from past lives to where we stand today, with the knowledge that we have learned and the power that guides us forward. And it is really quite important here to move forward in love, to move forward in gentleness, to walk gently, calmly, compassionately on this earth. And as we do so, it brings us then to our environment. And this is the King of Pentacles. And this really does make sense, right? We have a very dapper, gentleman here. And there is the sense that the environment that we're in is like, okay, you know what? All this hippy dippy stuff is great. Love and compassion is fine. But where's the money, honey? Very much, how are you going to fund this? This is looking at ourselves and the environment that we're in. Look at your relationship with money. Is money the root of all evil? Did you think money would save certain things or certain people or certain, times in your life that it was like, oh, it wouldn't be bad because, this is here and this will protect because this is what we're supposed to be working towards. And then that dream is shattered in one way or another. And are you redefining I really see this as redefining your connection with money, with your connection with power, or what you value as much as money, and really seeing yourself stepping into a different role. This is saying, I don't want to be the heartless, kind of like money hoarder on the top of the hill that says, all of you can burn, I got this, very Nero-esque, right? Who was said to have watched, Rome burnt as he, sat in his palace, or was even said to have started the fires of Rome so that he could collect more money and he could expand his palace even greater. So here it is compassion and understanding, and it is seeing the compassion and understanding in wealth, in prosperity, in bounty, in the way that you can move forward and be comfortable, but not be cold-hearted. And that's going to be a very important thing. The King of Cups, I think it's very cool that he's a mermaid. It's very much living in this world, but this world of emotion that isn't necessarily part of our day-to-day. It can be even seen as a bit of a fairy tale. And it moves us then to the hopes and the fears. And this is the Two of Wands. We fear that doors have closed, that will never be opened again. But we hope that doors are opening. Or we also fear that certain doors that we really hope were closed, and it's like, well, that saga has ended, right? That chapter is over, will open themselves and pull us in, through this portal to a place that we don't necessarily want to be, a place where we have to see ourselves as strong, but we already are strong. That strength doesn't have to be fisticuffs, roll up your sleeves, I'm physically stronger, tougher, or, fiercer than other people. There's tremendous strength in having a kind, loving soul, in walking in gentleness in a world that doesn't always honor that. That doesn't, that says they honor that, but really doesn't, shows the opposite in its actions. So here with the Two of Wands, know that portals are opening. During this time of the Lion's Gate portal, we are stepping into something more. And what that something is really personally, aligned to our own strengths, but it has to do with our emotions. It has to do with our heart. It's not about everybody else who has taken center stage time and time again. It is about what we are creating in this time of abundance, prosperity, fertility, bounty, meaning the earth is rich. The energy here is rich. How are we tapping into it? How are we honing it? And how are we breaking down boundaries? Because we are now tapping into untapped potential, right? We are now aligning, whether we realize it energetically or not, with power that has us seeing ourselves in such a different way. And that is sacred in our ascension to where we want to be and to what we desire for ourselves in our dreams. And it leads us to the Princess of Swords. And this is being a student of our voice. It leads us to finding our voice again in a world that might have taken it away, where we thought, oh, I can't say this, I can't be this, because again, I want to be that successful, dapper person who everybody just looks at and says, oh yeah, there's success. Whereas here, you can question it. This is youth, this is inexperience, this is, this is the page in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. And so here, we're looking at things and saying, am I starting anew? But the answer is no, you're not starting anew. The outcome is you are newly understanding your power, your voice, your insight, what you want, and where you're going. The King of Cups is water sign energy, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. The King of Pentacles is earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. The Princess of Swords is air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. At least, one of each of these elements have come forward during this time, right? The King of Pentacles linked with the Hierophant in the major arcana, the King of Cups linked with the Moon in the major arcana, and the Princess of Swords linked with the Lovers in the major arcana. So here, it is to be a king over your fears. Here, it is to be a king with the King of Pentacles over traditions and what everybody says you should want, but may not, and most likely does not resonate with who you are and what you want. And you're kind of redefining yourself in this very real way. And then you're learning how to speak, but through love, through compassion, through this sense of a duality of self. The one that is seen by the light of the sun, right? And the sun rules Leo. And so when the fixed star of Sirius comes forward and brings the spiritual forward, right? We have our sun of strength and power that makes things grow, that makes things happen. We have the spiritual and the practical come together and say, this is where I live. This is an understanding that opens up doors for me. And I'm now finding my voice. And I'm now moving forward in a different way than I have expected. Expect, books and videos and ideas and movies and, video, like YouTube videos and whatever else, like media videos to come in your way that kind of open up your mind. It's not having somebody else tell you what to do. It's having your own personal insights, your own personal joys come forward. And it's like, why didn't I look at this before? Or why did I, poo-poo this? This is a sacred part of me. And it gets to have a place in my world. So let's see what Spirit has to say here. Angels and Spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. Ooh, this is the Oriole. And it says, a new creative venture is on the horizon. See it as a positive change. You're stepping into creativity, to this abundance of creativity, insight, and understanding. And as you do so, the chakra energy that is all around you during this time is angels and spirit guides. Show me clearly. This one is self-mastery, the solar plexus chakra. Now, you can be having an upset tummy, right? Your gut is speaking to you. You can see like, oh, I don't like these certain foods, or, oh, wow, I feel really energized by this or that. So that gut energy is going to be coming forward very powerfully and rather intuitively during this time. Listen to your gut. Listen to your self-mastery coming forward in the sense of, I am connecting with where I need to be, with what I desire for myself. And it brings us then to this place with the energy to be mindful of. Now, what is the portal bringing forward, this Lionsgate portal that might be just too much for me? Let's see here. And this is the Six of Swords. The Six of Swords is moving forward. It's also really clear endings. There are certain things you don't want anymore in your life. You're like, that's done. But you'll be kind of fighting with that because it's like, well, isn't that what I worked towards? Isn't that what I was supposed to want, how I was supposed to be? And so old ideas, old habits, old insights fall away. And you're going to see yourself moving forward towards your Avalon, towards a kind of like mythical place, right? But that sees you, that understands you, that brings that insight and power forward for you. So the Six of Swords is coming. You've gathered up your knowledge. You're not necessarily sure-footed, right? Most definitely. And so you can doubt yourself and say, oh no, I can't move in this direction. I can't be different. But everything here is saying, I can't be the same as everybody else. Again, this is do no harm. This is not, anything to, like, I want to make it like really clear. This is moving forward in love and compassion and walking gently on this earth and letting kindness move forward in our lives. And people will see that energy change and they'll think, weak, I can take advantage. But at your heart is strength. At your heart is power. You are anything but weak. And so people will come to take advantage and you're like, no, this is not the way. And I move forward gently in alignment with the earth, in alignment with my heart, in alignment with my reason for being here. And it's starting to become more clear, even if it might seem frivolous. It doesn't have to be our work, right? We can go to our job, we can make our money and come home, right? Keep the bills paid, keep the lights on, keep food in our bellies. That's all really important. But there's another calling, and that can be the calling, right? For some, that is, but not for all. And we tend to think it has to be all or nothing. And Spirit's like, no, it doesn't. There's a balance, there's an insight here. And this is aligning to your heart, to what you truly love, and then embracing your voice in it and having that come forward in greater strength and insight. It moves us then to our subconscious spirit message, and that is the flicker. And it says, new rhythms are coming into your life now. You are encouraged to trust and adapt. Don't stay in the way that it always was. Things are going to be changing. Let that change in. It can be scary. It can be overwhelming. The Nile flooding is not something that's like, oh, yay, this is so fun. It is a scary, overwhelming time that, holds a lot of power to it, can change the prosperity of a land, right? Because if it floods too much, if it doesn't flood enough, there's all these factors that go into it. But what we're going to see here is that spiritually, we are given insight. We are given power that moves us forward in a way that might be too much for us right now. We might have to take little steps. But all of a sudden, things start to align in a way that is like, oh, I hadn't seen that before. And as we do so, it moves us then to the chakra energy. And this is truth. This is the throat chakra. Say your truth. It doesn't mean we have to go around, like life is a confessional and saying only the truth to people, because that can be rude. But here, it is, I speak the truth to me. I like this. I don't like this. I want this. I don't want that. I'm scared of this. I'm not scared of this. And it's really with the moon, it's facing our fears and our doubts. And that's what's going to be challenging, because we're going to think I have to be all strength. And Spirit's like, no, you don't. No, you don't. You can be afraid. And that's totally cool. Because if we're all gusto, then we're not caution at all. And it brings us then to the energy to be mindful of. It is the fact that everything is changing. The circle isn't yet closed. Not everything is in place. And so we still have free will. We still have, the ruler of the unseen world as our challenge coming forward, Uranus coming forward, and questions and doubt and insight, coming our way. But it is a change of a season. And we can kind of like, when a season changes and you're looking at your wardrobe and you're like, oh, can I wear this today or can't I wear that? Is it too hot? Is it too cold? Type of thing, especially if you live in a place with like intense, like the weather really changes. And so here it's like gently layer yourself, and do not be like, oh, I can only wear this like heavy woolen sweater, all day and it might get too hot. You can be able to take it off. Be adaptable, be compassionate with yourself during this time. And it moves us then to our subconscious tarot message, and that is the Queen of Cups. You have the King of Cups right here, and you have the Queen of Cups. This is our near future, the King of Cups. This is our subconscious, the Queen of Cups. We are coming together with our heart. We are coming together with what we love, with what we're looking for in our lives. There is this real sense of emotions running high, which we can be like, oh no, we're being too emotional. It's like, no. And we will flush out the emotions that are kind of toxic for us and really step into our heart, our compassion, our insights, for the doors to open in a really beautiful way for what we really desire, in the greater picture of what we want. And this is going to be a time where the heart talks to you. Sitting in meditation will be highly beneficial, but also doing things that you love and saying, I don't have to be perfect. I just need to do it. That's going to be another thing that opens up doors for you, that has you moving in a very powerful, very intuitive, very beautiful way. All right. All right, everyone, I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I am sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power, intensity, and beauty of the Lion's Gate portal and of ourselves, of the power of Cyrus and the power of our sun. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony. May blessings and prosperity always be with you. I love you all. Have a blessed time and a blessed life. Bye.